Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Parent University. Today we will be exploring the middle school guide to college and career academies, and we'll talk about career academies here at DCPS and if this is the right choice for your child. Again, hello everyone. My name is Emilia, and I'm the Family Engagement Specialist here at DCPS. And today I'm really excited to have some amazing teams, students, and alumni with us. But before we get started, I want to go through a couple of housekeeping items. First, I want to make a quick announcement in Spanish. So si usted necesita interpretación en español, por favor vaya a bit.ly/DCPS Español. El link está en el chat. So si usted necesita interpretación en español, por favor vaya ahí. So that was for folks who needed interpretation in Spanish. We have a full recording. We will have a full recording in Spanish too. If you need subtitles, you can go down to the little gear icon, click subtitles, and then there you can select the subtitles that work best for you. We have multiple languages in that. We also have a live Q&A chat going on. We want to hear your questions, your concerns, your comments. So please feel free to use that chat feature. And before we continue, I want to talk briefly about our community agreement. We are all here because we want what is best for our students. We are here to serve you as a family of DC public schools. So please, during this session, assume best intentions. We're here for you and your child. Go hard on ideas, soft on people. So question the things that you hear. We want to hear your feedback. Again, we're all here to do what is best for you and your child. And then lastly, accept non-closure. So we have folks who are going to give us a lot of information. We're going to try to get to all of your questions as much as we can. But we might not get to every single question, or you might walk away with more questions that you came with. So please accept non-closure. Alrighty, so I think we are ready to start. To get us started, I want to introduce one of our team members here, Emilia.
Hi everyone, my name is Emilia Hogan. I'm from the DCPS Career and Technical Education team, and I'm the Career Academy Specialist with DCPS.
Great. So Emilia is going to be walking us through some introductions. We're going to talk about some of the NAF Academies. We're going to have a panel. We're going to talk about the enrollment process, how to actually get into these academies. We'll do some Q&As, and then we'll have some closing remarks. Alrighty. So we have a few guests here. You already heard from Emilia. Chloe, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Chloe Woodward-McGrain. I am a project manager for DCPS on the Guide to College and Career Academies, and we will be talking about that in just a moment.
And then we also have Emerald with us.
Hi everybody, my name is Emerald. Hi everybody, my name is Emerald Becker, and I'm the Director of Enrollment at DC Public Schools, and I'll be sharing general information about enrollment and the My School DC Lottery.
Great, thank you so much. All right, so let's get to it. Let's talk about what is a NAF College Academy, College and Career Academy.
Hi everyone, so Emilia here from the College and Career Programs team. In DCPS high schools, we have 16 high schools that have college and career academies. We call them NAF Academies. They are programs for our students grade 9 through 12, which include coursework, internships, and other cool work-based learning opportunities, such as site tours, industry, mentorships, and internships. And they're all based around a centralized career theme. So we have engineering academies, we have IT, information technology academies, we have biotechnology, we have global services and diplomacy, public leadership, you name it. Different high schools offer different programs. You can see we have about 2,300 students in our college and career academies, and these students are receiving exposure to really rigorous and dynamic project-based learning, which means that the courses that they're taking are hands-on, and the experiences that the students are receiving are aligned to and really tailored to whatever their career interests are. We see students in our DCPS high schools that offer NAF career academies performing better than their peers that are not in NAF college and career academies. So the extra support and exposure and just really enhanced experience that a student receives in an academy really sets them up for success in whatever they decide to do after high school. So whether that's directly into the job force, whether that's into a 2-year college degree program, a 4-year college degree program, any post-secondary pathway can be aligned towards what a student is studying in their NAF Career Academy.
Great, thanks Emilia. I am going to talk about the Guide to College and Career Academies for 8th grade students. Again, my name is Chloe. As you just heard from Emilia, at DCPS, we have college and career academies across DCPS high schools. And the career academies have been around for a number of years. A few years ago, we heard from students and families and parents that they wanted to know more about what was available as they were transitioning from middle school to high school, particularly thinking about preparing for college and careers. And so we created a one-page guide. It's a back and a front that is shared with you in the mail. So it should, if you are a family with an 8th grade student, have arrived at your home. It's available virtually, and I will tell you a little bit about that in a moment. But this guide shares information about the NAF College and Career Academies that are available at your students in Boundary High School, and then at all of the high schools across DC Public Schools that have NAF College and Career Academies. So you can see an image here of one of the guides for a sample student who their in Boundary school is Roosevelt. And we're actually going to hear more about Roosevelt in just a moment. We have some members of our panel here to talk about what's available at Roosevelt, as well as McKinley Tech. But these guides are intended to share more with you about what is available, what is a NAF College and Career Academy, and to let you know a little bit more about what's coming up for you at your in-boundary school. Why don't we go to the next slide? I can tell folks a little bit more about what's on each front and back side of the guide. So on the left side of your screen, you will see a version of the NAF College and Career Academy guide. So that is the front side of it. You can see here in the red circle outlined, that is showing you what NAF College and Career Academies are available at your students in Boundary School. So for this one, it is the Culinary Arts and then Global Service and Diplomacy Academy. Those are the academies available at Roosevelt coming up next year. And then the blue box where you'll see the big red arrow pointing at it. If your student has an individualized education program or you speak a language that is not English at home, you will actually see this sharing with you about the services that are available for your student at their in-boundary high school. I know that Emerald is probably going to talk about what an in-boundary high school is a little bit later, but in case you don't know that terminology, this is the school that's typically the closest to you. This is the school that you have the right to attend, so you can just enroll directly in this school. And so this guide really focuses on sharing with you what's available at that school. You'll also see a little description of what the college and career academies are on that front page. And then on the right side of your screen, you will see the back of this guide to college and career academies. So on that, you will see a map of DC. All of the career academies at different high schools are there. You will also see them in a chart that is on the right-hand side of that, that back page. Just something to note, this guide does not include every high school that's in DCPS. There are a lot of great options that do not have NAF College and Career Academy. So School Without Walls, if you've heard of that school, Banneker High School, they have other great kinds of programs. They just don't have a NAF College and Career Academy. So this guide specifically focuses on the college and career academies. So just so you know, it's not every single high school in DCPS. You can see here on where the big red arrow is on the right side of your screen that the in-boundary school is once again highlighted. And then the other thing that this guide gives you a start on is your next steps. So it has information about the school lottery, My School DC. Again, I think our enrollment colleagues will speak a little bit more about that. And it also has a place for you to learn more about all of the high school options that are available as part of DCPS. And so I think that wraps up our short tour of the guide. As I mentioned previously, you hopefully have received this. If you are a family with a student who is in 8th grade this year, you should have received this guide, a paper version of it, in the mail to you several weeks ago in November. If you did not receive it or you want another copy, it is available by contacting your school. They also have a copy of this, or you can access it yourself by going into your portal, your Aspen parent portal, and so a copy of that guide will be available for your student as well. And I think that wraps it up, and I am ready to hand it off to, I think, back to Emilia as our next person up.
Thank you, Chloe. We are so excited to introduce to you these next 4 folks that we have with us this evening, representing 2 different high schools in DCPS that have NAF Career Academies. First is Mr. Hipkins, Julian Hipkins from Roosevelt High School. I'll let him take it from here, and then we'll pass it over to Ms. Richardson at McKinley Tech High School.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Julian Hipkins, and I'm the NAF Academy Director at Theodore Roosevelt High School and also a proud Petworth resident. At Roosevelt, we have 2 outstanding academies. We have our Culinary Arts Academy and Global Service and Diplomacy Academy. The Culinary Arts Academy is very popular. Food is very popular, so students who are in that academy either want to be chefs or want to open their own business related to the culinary field. And our Global Service and Diplomacy Academy focuses on the art of dealing with people, which Jalen will talk about in a moment. And I think we can all agree that it is very important in this day and age to know how to deal with people across races, across ethnicities, across countries in our global workspace. So I'm going to turn it over to Jalen and ask her a few questions. Hi, Jalen. So my first question for you, Jalen, is what do you like most about your academy experience?
One of the things I like most about my NAF Academy experience is the impact it's had on my political views. It's given me a lot more insight and context onto ongoing world conflicts and helping me understand the complexities that they have that I wouldn't have known otherwise.
Great. And I know it's hard to think about it this way, but where do you see yourself in 5 years, and how do you think your academy has impacted you for your future journey?
Hopefully in 5 years, I see myself in college, maybe studying political science or maybe studying abroad. In NAF Academy, we've had a lot of guests come in and talk about study abroad programs and how it's influenced them and made them want to become a diplomat. And I'm just really interested in studying abroad and getting exposure to different cultures. So hopefully that's what I'll be doing.
Thank you so much for being here. And now I will turn it over to Sherry Richardson from McKinley Tech High School.
Thank you, Director Hipkins. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sherry Richardson, and I serve as founding director of the Distinguished NAF Academy of Biotechnology. The NAF Academy of Biotechnology is the first and only distinguished NAF Academy of Biotechnology in the nation. This means McKinley Tech offers students a unique opportunity to experience firsthand biotechnology education to prepare for a meaningful career in biotechnology, Many of our students like to pursue careers in medicine, research, healthcare in general. To join the Academy, you would apply to McKinley Tech, gain acceptance, complete your 9th grade year, and choose biotechnology as your preferred STEM pathway at the conclusion of your 9th grade year. And here to speak about her experiences in the Biotechnology Academy is my co-panelist this evening, Ranella Cassius. Ranella graduated from the Academy of Biotechnology in 2020. She was one of our highest performing biotechnology students who completed an internship during her senior year. Ranella, thank you for joining us this evening.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ranella. I'm currently a student at George Washington University. I'm a sophomore. My major is public health, and thanks to the Biotechnology Academy, I was able to determine what major I wanted to go into. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be in the NAF Academy under biotechnology because I originally did not know what I wanted to be, if I wanted to go to college, and where or what major. I was just completely unsure. So because I was in the Biotechnology Academy and my curiosity, I ended up asking Ms. Richardson what opportunities were there for internships. And at the time, she offered an internship at the Department of Forensics. And even then at the time, I knew nothing about forensics. And I was like, you know what, let's just jump straight into it and find out if this is what I really like. It was like, yeah, it was around my junior year. And I went and I ended up being in the public health microbiology lab. And everybody in the lab was like, what do you want to do? Where you want to go? And I was just that one student, like I had straight A's and I didn't even know if I wanted to go to college where. I got acceptances and I just had no idea what I wanted to do. So like I'm thankful for having the opportunity to go to the Department of Forensics because I was able to find out that I liked public health and I like science, and I'm still in the process of evaluating like what specifically I want to do within public health because there's microbiology, biology, chemistry, like so many branches that I probably don't have enough time to go through. But overall, being in the Biotechnology Academy really exposed me to a lot of lessons, opportunities. We had field trips, met many different individuals in the NIH, GW Hospital, and I really recommend it for everybody or students.
Thank you. You answered my first question, and that is what you do now and how the Academy prepared you for what you're doing now. So my next question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself doing multiple things. I will definitely have more than one degree. I don't know what exactly I want to be, but I know I want to do multiple things. Like I want to be a business owner. I want to do a career within public health. I see myself traveling. But if I was to give a concrete title of like, what would I be? Would I be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever? I don't know yet.
Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to Emilia.
Thank you all so much. We did want to take a moment and see if anyone on the call has questions for our panelists. So our representatives from Roosevelt, Mr. Hipkins and Jalen, or our representatives from McKinley Technology, Sherry, Ms. Richardson, or Ranella. Or any questions just generally be about NAF Academies and DCPS.
We have some questions that were sent ahead of time. Also, attendees, if you have questions right now, please enter them in the chat. We do have one question that is around this came up now, it also came up in the pre-registration. Like, what is the difference between like what would be considered like a more traditional high school versus like a high school, like an academy inside a high school?
Yeah, so great question. Difference between a traditional high school and an academy experience within a high school. So something that's, you know, unique about DCPS is that we have the NAF Academies as a part of the traditional high school experience in DCPS. So we have 16 out of 21 of our high schools offer NAF Academies, not all of them, like Chloe was saying before. But if you select a high school that has the academy, your student can then decide, either depending on the school, whether to enroll in the academy or which academy to enroll in, because some schools it's required, it's part of the experience to enroll in the academy. The purpose of academies is that one of the purposes of the academies is to create a niche or a learning community within the school that the student can feel a part of and can identify with. So that's one way in which we see students really being successful in the academies is finding this learning niche, possibly also, you know, opening opportunities for friendships, for collaboration, for, you know, mentorship opportunities within the school. That's in addition to the outside of the school experience of field trips, internships, mentoring, guest speakers that are coming into the classroom. And so it's part of the traditional high school experience, and it's also an additional layer of support, experience, and exposure for students in the high schools.
Thank you for sharing. So just to clarify, because another parent asked, so students in the academies still benefit from the college access supports that we have for all of our students, correct?
Right. Yep. Good question. Yeah. So whatever resources are provided by the high school, the academy student benefits from, including those college and career. In fact, an academy student, I would say, has an additional layer of college and career related supports. So every DCPS high school has a school counselor that provides college and career guidance, a college and career coordinator that provides that similar guidance, as well as for NAF Academy high schools, there's a NAF Academy leader that provides an additional layer of that guidance as well. So you're really getting bonus support for your student around just the nitty-gritty logistics of applying to colleges, applying for financial support, scholarships, etc., for applying into direct workforce development training programs, things like that, if that's what your student is interested in addition to the school counselor, the college and career coordinator that also provides that support. So it's really an extra layer of support for students.
All right, thank you. The next question is for Renella. So students might not necessarily be clear on what they want to do right now. How did you figure out which academy was right for you?
I always knew that I had a passion for helping people. So I think it really depends on what your passion is. So at McKinley, we have engineering, IT, and biotechnology. I knew that computers wasn't really my thing. I knew engineering was not my thing either. I didn't see myself being an architect or anything. And I knew that within my household, they always push towards being a doctor or a nurse and something within the sciences. So I know I wanted to be in biotechnology. And I think there was also, then they have something our freshman year where they had us go to a symposium and they told us about each of the different STEMs. So you get a taste of which program is and you see which one resonates with you the most. And then that's when I determined I wanted to be in biotechnology.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. The next question is for Jalen. Jalen, as a current student, could you talk about what the homework loads are like for students in the academies and how you balance your homework with other aspects of the academy?
Okay, sorry, it took me a while to come off of mute. I think it really just depends on which academy you're in your teacher. For me, my global service and diplomacy academy class, more foreign services and diplomacy class, it's really discussion based. So a lot of our homework is just going home and reading articles and answering discussion questions about them. So that homework isn't too hard to do, and it's actually pretty interesting to me because like coming back and having those Socratic seminars, you're able to hear other people's opinions. But I would say so far the homework load hasn't really interfered with any of my other classes, and it hasn't been very stressful.
Thank you. The next question is for Mr. Julian. If a parent comes to you and asks you, like, how can I help my child make a decision around which academy to apply to, what is the one piece of advice you'd give them?
I would say they should talk to the director of the academies at that particular school. I could talk for hours about both academies in detail. So that would be one place to go. Another place, and perhaps the best place to go, would be to talk to a student or arrange a conversation with a student in those academies. So for example, if the student was coming to Roosevelt, they could talk to Jalen, who's in our Global Service and Diplomacy Academy, or they could talk to a student in our Culinary Arts Academy and get the information they need from a student perspective. I think that would also be a great way to approach it.
Thank you. And our last question will be for Ms. Sherry. Sorry, I just lost the question. All right, the internship. How much value do students get from the internships that they get through the academy?
That's a great question. I would say the internship experience is invaluable in a lot of ways because it's the perfect opportunity for students to really explore what it means to be actively involved in a certain career pathway. So by practicing or engaging in an internship, students get to see what it's like to actually work in that career field and make an informed decision around whether or not this is something they'd like to pursue long term. So we love the idea of beginning the experience in the classroom and then creating an extension through an internship so that the student has a well-rounded perspective of what it is we are exposing them to.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, thank you everyone in the every single one of the panelists. So that was our Q&A section. Thank you so much for your answers. Participants, we want to keep hearing your questions, so we will have another Q&A at the end. We'll try to provide you as many responses as possible, so please feel free to keep sending them in the chat. So we talked about the academies, what they are, so let's talk about how to get to them. So for this, we'll have Emerald.
Hi, everybody. Thanks again for having me. So how do we access these schools and these programs? So DCPS has 18 high schools, which includes 8 selective high schools or programs. To gain entrance into the selective high schools or programs, you must apply through the My School DC lottery. The only school that you do not have to apply to is your in-boundary school that you have a right to attend at any time, or your feeder school. Frequently, those are the same schools, but sometimes they are not. If you have any questions about what is your in-boundary school or your feeder school, feel free to reach out to my team at enroll@k12.dc.gov, and we'll put that in the chat as well. For our selective high schools and programs, submitting your My School DC lottery application is essentially step 1 of the process, whereas for any other school that you're applying through My School DC, that is the only step of the process. For selective high schools and programs, you need to apply through My School DC, and then after the application deadline closes, and this year that deadline is Tuesday, February 1st, the selective high school will reach out with the additional next steps to gain admissions to their program. And each selective high school or program has different eligibility requirements. Anyone can apply to these programs, but in order to be eligible for enrollment, you do have to meet the admissions criteria. Again, for any school that is not a selective high school program, you have a right to attend that school at any time. And in order to, if you want to attend a school that is not your in-boundary or feeder school, you must submit a My School DC lottery application. Once you submit it, you'll either get a match or later on in the season, a waitlist offer. In order to secure your seat from the lottery, you have to complete enrollment by either the lottery match enrollment deadline or within the time frame that the waitlist offer is given to you. All right, you can go to the next slide. Selective high schools and programs do not have boundaries. They're essentially citywide schools, so anybody can attend, anybody can apply, and anybody can attend. We post the admissions criteria for selective high schools in advance of the new lottery opening. So EdFest is this Saturday. I love that somebody asked about EdFest. It is this Saturday. It is going to be virtual again. From 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. And then the lottery opens on Monday, December 13th. It opens that day. And so by Monday, we will have all of the eligibility requirements posted on the DCPS enrollment website. And again, if you can't find that information or you have questions about it, you can always reach out to my team at enroll@k12.dc.gov. It's posted in the slide. If you need help completing the application, you can always reach out to My School DC. They're very happy to help you complete the application. And if you have any questions about the lottery or about a particular school, you can always reach out to my team or My School DC as well. What's also really important is that you really do want to apply by the lottery application deadline for high schools. It is again Tuesday, February 1st. The lottery application, again, opens on December 13th. There's no benefit to applying early. However, and I think somebody did ask this in one of the pre-questions, you can actually, I actually encourage families to apply as soon as they know at least one school that they would like to apply to, because you can actually press submit in the application as many times as you want through the lottery application deadline. So in the lottery application, you can apply to up to 12 schools, and you'll be asked to rank those schools in your preference order. Now, I always get asked, is there a strategy to this? You know, is there a way, if I put my most favorite in the number 3 ranking order, does that give me some kind of advantage? Absolutely not. You should rank your schools as true to how you feel, and you should also apply to schools that you would complete enrollment in tomorrow. What's always really hard is when a family applies to a school, they get a match, and then they don't end up wanting to go to that school. They essentially have wasted their lottery process, and they have to start over in the post-lottery period and go through the waitlist process. So it's very important that when you apply to schools that you feel very good about enrolling and attending into every single school that you apply to. You should not apply to a school that you would not attend tomorrow. Let's see. We can go to the next slide, and I want to see if there are any questions for me. All right, well, I'm looking at the questions. These are the key dates for this season. So as I mentioned, this Saturday is EdFest. It's virtual again this year. It's from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. All of our schools will be ready and waiting to share information to you about their school. And so please join us, please stop by. We're so excited to interact with families. The following Monday, so less than a week from now, the new lottery opens. And that's when you can start applying to schools. And again, I just always encourage families to apply as soon as they know of at least one school that they definitely want to apply to, because you never know what happens. Life happens, you think you applied, but you actually didn't, and then you got really busy and you end up not submitting an application. And it is very important that you meet this deadline, the application deadline for high schools, which is February 1st, because I sort of equate it to going Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve. If you missed the deadline, yes, you can absolutely still apply to schools, but you will be on the wait list behind all these other applicants that applied prior to when you did. After February 1st, the next deadline is for pre-K 3 through 8, and that is 1 month later on Tuesday, March 1st. And then a month after that, on April 1st, is when the lottery results will be released. And that is also the same day that you can start completing enrollment. So the day the lottery results are released, we always have parents showing up at our schools, ready to complete enrollment, which we love. And then 1 month after that, on May 2nd, is the lottery enrollment deadline. And that's the deadline for matched students. So if you receive a match on Friday, April 1st, you have 1 month from there to secure your seat, secure your matched seat by completing enrollment on May 2nd. After May 2nd, the school can no longer guarantee that seat for you. They have the right to go to their wait list and start making offers to other students on the wait list. So very important to meet these deadlines. And yeah, we can go to the next slide. All right, so we talked about this a little bit, but super important. Results will be available online beginning April 1st this year, and also results will be mailed to families about a week later. Again, to secure your match seat, you will need to complete enrollment on or before the lottery match enrollment deadline, which is Monday, May 2nd. And completing enrollment includes proving residency. Proving residency is something that the state agency, OSSI, requires of all families. It's not a DCPS thing, it's a statewide thing. Requires of all families to do every single year. So that's part of completing enrollment. And I urge families not to wait until the last minute, because as I'm sure many families on this call know, completing enrollment can sometimes be a little complicated. We do try to make it as easy for you guys as possible, but it can be complicated. So please do not wait till the last minute. If you do enroll at the school that you get a match to, this does not remove you from wait lists. So if you get a match at one school, but you were also waitlisted at other schools, you're not losing those waitlist positions by completing the enrollment at the match. So it's very important. I know families get concerned about, I got matched to my number 3 ranked choice, but I still want to hold out for my number 1, and I'm waitlisted there in number 10 or something. If you complete enrollment at your match school, you're not giving up your waitlist position. Really, really important. And you can go to the next slide. All right, any questions about enrollment or the lottery in general?
All right, so attendees, please feel free to share your questions with us in the live Q&A. I'm gonna go back to the slide with the dates, because I know that's a question that came up a lot during the pre-registration. One of the questions that also came up beforehand is about sibling preference. Is there sibling preference with the lottery?
Great question. There is sibling preference in the lottery, but not for selective high schools and programs. That preference does not exist for selective high schools and programs. But for our other schools, our pre-K programs, elementary schools, our middle schools, our comprehensive high schools, the sibling preference is in place.
Okay, so if I'm a student who's out of boundary in Wilson, but I have a sibling who's in an academy in Wilson, I would have a sibling preference for that.
That's correct.
Okay.
And by the way, the academy piece is not relevant. You could even just be enrolling in Wilson generally outside of the academy, and you would still have the sibling preference.
Okay, thank you. What information is needed to enroll in a school once you have been matched to make the process easier?
Great question. So the DCPS enrollment packet is always posted usually the day before enrollment begins. We don't post it any earlier because if you complete enrollment prior to the day that enrollment legally opens, which again is the same day that lottery results are released, that enrollment doesn't count. And this is, by the way, again, not our rule, it's the state agency rule. So we know we have a lot of eager, excited parents, which we love, but they do have to wait until the lottery results are released in order to complete enrollment. To do so, the packet is posted on the enrollment website, and our wonderful schools usually will repost the link to our packets on their websites. They'll usually have hard copies available at their school. And the packet includes general information about you and your student. The biggest component tends to be proving residency. So this would be proving that you're a resident of the District of Columbia. We do not draft the guidelines for how to prove residency. This is also a state agency directive, and they do tend to make updates every single year. So you can review what the enrollment requirements are for the current school year, the current 21-22 school year on our website. The enrollment requirements for the 22-23 school year will be posted on our website either right on April 1st or slightly before it, like hours before. And I'll put the link to the 21-22 enrollment requirements in the chat.
All right, excellent. And also in the chat, we have like where open houses can be found and like the enrollment website. Excellent. So we're gonna move to too far ahead to some questions. If there are any questions for anyone else, this is a great time to submit them on the chat. I do have a question from the pre-registration for Emilia. There was a question around test scores and other things. If a student wants to apply to an academy, are test scores or 7th grade grades taken into consideration?
So for NAF Academies in our high schools, there are no prerequisites or requirements with test scores, with grades. The only prerequisite is that a student is enrolled in the school. Within each high school, and depending on the career academies they offer, there will be a different enrollment process in the academy. So Mr. Hipkins said before, often you are directed to reach out to the academy director to get enrolled. Sometimes it's through the school counselor. Depending on the school that you're enrolled in, there'll be a different way to enroll in the academy. But no prerequisites to join the career academies. Students need to be interested in the career pathway.
Are there any academies that focus on like dual language or just something related to dual language? Because we have like elementary schools that are dual language, middle schools that do like bilingual education, but is there any academy that focuses on bilingual or dual language education?
We do not have a NAF Academy specifically that focuses on dual language. However, there is a career education program that's similar to a NAF Academy at Columbia Heights Education Campus, CHEC. They have a bilingual education program. It's not a NAF Academy, but like I said, it's similar. We do have, depending on what a student is interested in, a lot of the academies can really target and be specific to a student's interests and can be, I think, tailored, if that makes sense. So a student that might be joining biotechnology at McKinley Tech can sit down and have a conversation with Director Richardson about if they have an interest in bilingual education. And she can probably sit down with that student and say, depending on what you're also interested in the area of biotechnology, let's talk about what the overlaps in career pathways could be, so that an academy experience in a lot of ways can be tailored to the student's interest.
Also, if I could add, at Roosevelt, we have a dual language program, and a few of our students, they're in Global Service and Diplomacy Academy, but they're also in the dual language program. So they take some classes completely in Spanish, in addition to being in the Global Service and Diplomacy Academy.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, any other questions coming in? Nope, no live questions. So let's wrap up tonight. We shared a lot of information with families. Before we leave, if we could have Mr. Julian and Ms. Sherry and maybe our other two guests share, like, what is the most exciting part of a NAF Academy, of being a student in a NAF Academy? Let's start with you, Mr. Julian.
I would say the most exciting thing is getting students to see different areas of our city on different field trips, and also to engage with the many guest speakers we have in our building, and just to see them realize their dreams through our academies. As I said earlier, Roosevelt is my neighborhood high school, so it brings me great joy to work at the high school in my neighborhood and help students to reach their goals and dreams through the academies.
Thank you. Ms. Sherry?
Sure, I think one of the best experiences about for students in a NAF Academy is that we get to bring to life all of the exciting things students experience by maybe engaging in television or through documentaries, or you know, things that they experience in regular life. We actually get to show them and immerse them in these experiences and show them that they can actually be a part of what makes these activities possible, and they do have a place in this world.
Thank you. So I'm trying to go through my list. Renella?
I'm trying to think. There's so many exciting things about being in biotechnology. I would say my most exciting part of being a part of the program was going to see live surgeries. And
Live surgeries at a hospital?
Yeah, we so we went to George Washington and we got to see on a big screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was really exciting. And then I would say also having the internship opportunity and exploring the different branches like crime scene, the OCME aspect, and seeing autopsies and microbiology.
That sounds awesome. Thank you for sharing. And Jalen? Having some tech issues, guys.
Oh, Jalen said her computer froze.
Ooh, okay. All right, you guys can still see my screen, correct? Yes. All right, so that thank you everyone so much for sharing your experiences and for sharing all this information to help students and families make the best choice for their children. Before we close out, or as we close out, I just want to make a couple of quick announcements. So we shared a lot of links, emails, information on the chat. Please feel free to go there, get what you need, get what you want. You can also follow us on social media. We're constantly posting about events like this. We're posting about where you can get more information to help you and your child make the best choice. If there is anything that you wanted to hear again, or if you wanted to share this video with someone else, we will have the video up by tomorrow. So you can go into YouTube, DCPS, check us out, see the video, share it. We also want to have a couple of quick reminders. I will post a link in the chat right now. We want to hear what you thought of this session. We always want to improve, and we want to provide you what we want, something that we heard loud and clear in our past survey results is that you wanted to hear more from staff, more from students, families. So I hope that this satisfied that need, and we want to keep doing what you want. So please submit a survey. I'll put the link in the chat shortly. Also, if you have any questions, there's some good emails in the chat. Feel free to reach out, but you can also reach out to parentu@k12.dc.gov. I check that email. If you want to send anything else, or if you heard something and you don't remember who it was or what was the link, feel free to email. I'll get that information to you. And then finally, check out our social media to stay up to date. We will have our Parent U calendar for the spring ready in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes out for that. And that is about all I have. So let me link in the chat. There's also some other good info. And that is all we had for today. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to be here with everyone. And again, thank you, families, and see you next time.